Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode on my channel, and today I got a lot to show, right? But first, I just wanted to say thank you, and thanks a lot, cause the support I've been getting on my previous video about Bricadia is insane. Alright, compared to my other videos, it's essentially gone viral. What I'm about to show you guys is practically never done before. I could not find anybody on YouTube that has done that in Bricadia before. I'm pretty stoked to show you guys. So let's get started. Let's start the video. Alright, so if you've ever built something in your life, you know that the first thing you start with is planning. So for the planning of this project, I first had to pick a car, and now that starts with inspiration. I looked at some cars and I figured I really want to build a BMW M3. So I searched up some pictures, some reference pictures on the internet, and I meticulously found some. Now you can see someone broke this guy's window here, but that's not for me to worry about. What we have to worry about is the scaling. Now we need to scale this perfectly to Bricadia, so I use a character in the game for reference. Get it all into place using micro bricks and get all the wheel placements. Your wheel base is going to make it look good, or better. Plus points for Bricadia for actually making the wheels scalable. That helps a lot when you're trying to build realistic cars, and getting the wheels right just makes it perfect. How I ended up with the BMW Mark III is a little fun fact. I just searched up cool sedans and needed to have a inline engine. And for our sake, the BMW M3 has a inline 5. After building for a while in this game, I've noticed that bearings in this game don't handle weight. If you give them stress, they just flop, and you eventually end up with a feedback loop, kinda. It's hard to get out of, and it sucks. Anyways, after settling on the frame, we now move on to the wheels, getting the wheels attached. Now, what are the wheels attached with? Well, suspension, obviously. Which means we need to build suspension. Now, after checking what type of suspension the BMW M3 has, McPherson struts and coil springs. McPherson struts are rather simple. In Bricadia we obviously have to use the sliders, the motor sliders, because they have, for some reason, they have like a suspension effect. I guess we're just going to build both the front suspensions, and we're going to move on to the back, because when we start on the back, that means we have to get the axle down with all the CV joints. If it were to be a fixed axle in the rear, it would be a lot easier. But I don't think it's fixed. I think it's some kind of wishbone setup. Alright, now that we've done it on one side, we have to replicate the whole thing on the other side, because we can't duplicate joints yet. Let's start building it on the other side. Alright, that looks pretty good, but there's one issue. The wheels are flopping side to side. That's not a motion we need. We can't have floppy camber. We need the camber to be fixed. Because the thing about McFerrin struts, they're supposed to change the camber the more the suspension is compressed. So we need to change that by, like I said, lowering the complexity and getting rid of some of the joints. Now, after we've majorly decomplified this suspension, I think we should make it look a bit more realistic. So I got this picture of the BMW's hood, or the engine bay, and we can see the two struts on each side. We're just going to replicate that. And now that we have painted it up, looks kind of cool, we can move on to the rear axle. Now, right here, I'm just going to start with the differential. That's the part that's fixed to the body. So let's just get a differential concept going. Now, I think I might be the first person to discover this, but you can actually use wheels and scale them down and use them as gears, friction gears kinda. Now, after doing some extensive testing, I figured the rear differential does not have enough torque to give me my desired acceleration. I don't want our BMW to be slow and stupid. So what I did was I just made it less complex. The micro bearings are getting us and they're flexing all over the place. So after making the rear diff fixed, the next part we need to assemble our steering. I first tried to do some fancy servo joints in the suspension struts themselves. But like I mentioned, the game does not like micro bearings and they were overall way too floppy. So using my big ass brain, I figured we could actually do this more realistically. I just tried to do the cheap old scrap mechanic way. Try to cheap out using scrap mechanic knowledge. I instead moved on to using actual steering arms. I actually used the flexing of the micro bearings to my advantage, and that actually worked surprisingly well. I was pretty happy with how that turned out. Anyways, I think that's about where we are today. We've got all the steering working, we got the front suspension working, the suspension can still compress while we're steering. We've still got space for the drive shaft to go through. In the next episode, you could probably see the back axle finished with all the CV joints and hopefully the new engine installed. Yes, you heard correctly. We need to build a new engine. After testing it out, I found out the engine we built doesn't fit. I just need to figure out a lot of stuff. A lot of shit needs to be done. Like I said in the last episode, this is awesome. And thank you guys for watching. I will keep you guys updated on this new project that we've just taken on. I hope you guys will stay with me on this journey. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.